competition creates a whole lot of innovation.
The only thing that can stop is yourself.
The truth of the matter is every big thing has a little start.
Yeah. The thing is build to try and make an impact, a genuine problem you face.
I wouldn't say that the genuine fear of people like, AI taking their jobs is not real. If you cannot beat them, you join them. If most people can read and most people can write, and most people can communicate, you can do the same thing with programming language as well. So, and you can create incredible stuff.
All right. Once again, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate, right? As much as possible, I will encourage you could subscribe, engage, and share with loved ones. And as much as possible, let this video go viral, right? I feel the guest I'm bringing on this show, right? I find him, I always tell his story, even if he's not there, right? Sometimes when I feel not motivated and I'm saying to Lou, I'm at the end of the tunnel, there seems as if there's no way out. And every time I just hear his story, I say to Lou, you can't stop here. There should be much more than this, right? Hearing his story, not just from me, right? Even from him. I'm sure when we are discussing, I'm sure he'll share part of his story with us, right? And I have seen him start his career without, if you hear a story, it's very interesting. I hope he tells it. If he doesn't, maybe you reach out to him in his DM and he shares it to you on a personal note, right? But seeing from where he's coming from to where he is, because he's a self-taught developer, right? And he has built a working tool that is used for over 200,000 people are using what he built, right? And I know he'll give us the details and much more, right? And his name is Moses. Like I said, I've known him for over 5 years now, right? And he's an amazing guy, him and his brother, right? But today, I'm not going to be talking about him and his brother. I'm just going to be talking about Moses. And I'm going to give the mic over to Moses. And Moses is going to do an introduction. And from there, we carry on. Moses, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Tolu. My name is Moses Olafenwa. I'm a software engineer / AI engineer, and very passionate about emerging technologies. I've been in the software web development, basically the tech ecosystem since like 2012. And I think I kind of like maybe started engaging the community at large around 2018. And today I'm a software engineer, and I love building stuff. I love building technologies. I basically love open source technologies, especially because I've built a couple myself. And usually there's no way I would talk about my story that it's not overlap with my brothers, because we did a lot of great things together in the past and even till today. And let me just say, in terms of stuff I love to do, I love watching movies. I love watching movies, sci-fi, technology, and recently when I learned to drive, I found driving something therapeutic for me. I like driving and going places and exploring places, and hopefully one day I'll be able to tour the world. But yeah, that's just me in a nutshell.
All right, Moses, thank you so much. This guy is a very humble guy, right? And the way he casually said it, this guy has built, like I earlier said, he has built a working tool that is used by people. Over 200,000 people are using his tool he built, right? And to be honest, right, when AI was coming, this guy was so passionate about it. In his speech, in his energy, he kept talking about AI, even though people beyond when this ChatGPT came in, this guy was already seeing the future before ChatGPT came in, right? He was energetic about it. He kept talking about it as if it's tomorrow, but now we're here in it, right? But I feel we need to jump into the conversation. And in today's conversation, the first part we're taking is taught yourself how to code by yourself, right? But
Yes.
now, many people find tech too complicated to start. So what was your first step and how did you stay consistent in it?
So my journey, which I took along with my brother, John Olafenwa, I would call it an unconventional one. And it wasn't kind of like well informed in the start. I would say it started 2011 to 2012. And at the time, my younger brother, John, he was the first to like get more interested in about how do you create a website? How do you build software and stuff? And we moved from the graphical user interface for dragging and dropping website components to, he was the first to get to the JavaScript and programming language and stuff. And I followed him in the feed as well. And we started building all kind of stuff. We started learning all kind of programming language, C++, PHP, Java, JavaScript. And I think at that time I fell in love with Java because I loved Java. And the fact that you can build software applications, desktop, you can build backend, you can build web with it, and you can also build Android applications with it as well. And by then, what really inspired us was this story of the likes of, Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Larry Ellison, the CEO of Oracle, and and the other folks who built almost out of nothing, built innovations way before everybody even knew digital technology was going to take over the world. And we were kind of just exploring and we're hoping to build something. And I think we tried to build many stuff. And we also did a couple of, services for people who wanted us to build stuff for them and we get paid for it until like 2018. So that's kind of like a span of 6 years.
Yeah.
And we couldn't really get anything out on the ground flying. And by then, my younger brother John was working on a new kind of like a NoSQL database engine, which is going to be useful for developers and useful for people who are doing everyday business applications. And he wanted to introduce AI into it. And he started exploring AI. I've explored AI in the past with Python, but it wasn't really well developed. And then he came across the concept of machine learning. And it was like, this is interesting. Instead of me trying to add machine learning to what I'm doing, why not just fully push on the machine learning? And he told me about it, tell me all this exciting stuff. The internet is becoming bigger, they're generating many bigger data sets, and the computers are becoming more powerful. They're not training very accurate models. And I told him, I was like, I'm going to take a 2 months break and I will join you in the AI machine learning stuff you're doing. And that started like around October, November 2017. And I took 2 months break. I did nothing. I wrote no code. I did no research. I would just keep my head blank for 2 months. And January 1st, 2018, I and my brother took a walk that new year, somewhere about a mile down our house around Songota in Nigeria, just close to Lagos, Nigeria. And that day everything felt all right. Everything felt so optimistic. And it was as if we could feel that the future is going to be great. And I still have a picture on Facebook of that trip, both of us, that I posted. And that was when we started AI. And fast forward before the end of 2018, everything has changed. Before I go into details of that, the journey we took, we didn't really engage people. Really, it was just I and my brother doing what we did. And I think what we did differently in 2018 was, first, we embraced open source. That is, you started learning something, you write about it, you share with the world what you're learning. And the thing is, as you're writing about it, you have to know it well, you have to do your research to be able to write it accurately. And when we build a software or something we think is useful, no matter how tiny it is or no matter how complex it is, share with the world, document it, put the documentation of how they can set it up themselves and use it. The truth of the matter is that somewhere out there, whether somebody on the edge of Mississippi, the state in the US, or someone in Egypt might just come across the printer and say, I found it useful. We engaged the community, we started getting feedback, and we began to understand what people really wanted to be built, because we're trying to build a product that actually works and benefit the world, and bringing it to today, I think it's so large, right? You have mobile development, you have desktop development, you have web development, you have products, small-scale products, large-scale products. Usually when people look at the likes of Facebook and Google and stuff, they look simple, right? But they are built with so many years of experience and so many years of development. The truth of the matter is every big thing has a little start.
Yeah.
So you start somewhere. Let's say you say, oh, you want to build kind of how will I put it, web development. And, I want to get people to build powerful websites, and why not start, for example, something as silly as a calculator, you know, a calculator with Google login in it, right? You have to log in to use the calculator. You can save your calculations, you can edit existing calculations, you can, write equations. The funny thing with that idea is start with an idea of a calculator and you can log in and have a dashboard and your own history of calculations. You can actually expand that calculating thing, expand it to so many mathematical features that includes algorithms, even college level mathematics and calculations and stuff like that. You'll be surprised for something as simple as building an open source calculator with the Google login. People can just keep asking, making a request. Can you add this to it? Can you add this functionality to it? To be great, you can add this to it. People can own it. And if you believe this could be a product, so you can say it's open source, but I can run it in the cloud for you people and you pay me a small token per month. You start a subscription service. And even if you don't convert it to something commercial, the good thing about it is if it's not secure, people will tell you it's not secure. They will tell you the things you need to secure it, especially when it's open source. And you will secure it. You become better as what to build. You're able to build not just product that works, but product that is secured, product that is quality grade, industrial grade. And as people are using it and noticing, people who could hire you are simultaneously noticing you. Someone going to slide in your inbox and say, hey, I saw you build this project. It's incredible. But building something similar, but in a different domain. And we would like to interview you and stuff like that. The thing is, start small. Whatever you start, no matter how small it is, expose yourself to it. Write articles, share it with, whether it's on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter, or Reddit. Share it, join communities. Be open to receive feedback and be open to act on those feedback. When there are conferences or discussions, whether it's virtual or physical, you got to go there, engage with the community and meet with people, right? And discuss with them when to discuss them about topics or topics you want to know about. Ask them, they'll be very open to, discuss with you. And what you're going to find yourself doing within 1 year is you're going to move with someone that is just starting to someone that's actually part of the community, that's actually doing something that somebody found useful. Whether it is, even if you're not doing open source projects, write about what you do, share sample projects and do stuff like that. You'll be surprised how your journey just magically transforms itself and evolves to you being, oh, I'm an engineer today. Because that is what happened in my own case and my brothers. And I think that is still applicable to today. And the very interesting thing is that our youngest sister, Moses Olafenwa, also did a thing. She built an open source project for image segmentation and stuff. Got feedback from multiple organizations, especially in the academics. And that helped boost her career. Today, she's an AI engineer. So the thing is, what you're working, don't just put it in silos. Yeah. Put it out there. Put it out there. Join communities virtual, join communities physical if you can. Share it out there. When people give you feedback, communicate with them, engage with them. If you can work together with them. Before you know it, you'll find yourself building something simple. And if it's useful, you can evolve with something big. If you build something and you feel like it's not getting traction, go ahead and build something, right? Because for me, I built a project called Image AI. And that was a third iteration. The first one I did was like this GUI tool. You upload the picture and this can give you a prediction of what it looks like, just kind of like a demo. And yeah, some people loved it. I think I got like 12 stars on GitHub from it. And I built another one called IntelliP. It's kind of like IntelliPhotography or something. And it basically scans your PC and then categorize the images by the kind of content in them. And maybe there are like 18 likes. Then I thought of myself as like, it's hard for people to usually get hands-on on AI code and put the picture in and get an output on, build an application around it. And I thought, why can't I build something that I would have loved to, have that I wish somebody has built it, but it doesn't exist. And let me build it myself. So I built Image AI because I wish it existed. And it's simple. You install a Python library. You can just copy the 5 lines of code, provide an image path or load the image in a different way and put it in there as a parameter into the code. And you get a prediction. Image prediction, you get object detection. That's being able to recognize the object and tells you exactly the image where the object is. And I developed and I saw 65 stars on GitHub. I was like, whoa, this is something. And And I began to expand it. I was like, people loved it. People started asking, if they can add more functionalities. I started adding them. And before I know it, I'm in the 200 stars on YouTube. I'm like, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I mean, I'll be the first and the second project. I had just a few traction, but this is going good. And then I added functionalities for videos and stuff, and I started writing articles about it. Now, this is the key part. I've done a great project. People are discovering it because I'm sharing on Facebook, I'm sharing it, on other websites like that. And the thing was, I started writing an article about it. And there was this organization on medium.com called Towards Data Science. And they basically invite writers or people who have built exciting projects to write in their publication on medium.com. And I wrote one of the articles and they liked it. And, they accepted it. I've written 2 articles. The third one was the third or the fourth one was the one that really made a lot of traction because Medium picked it as one of the featured articles and sent it out as a newsletter. And that changed my life because the article has almost 1 million views right now. And the project shot is 1,000 stars. And I suddenly, people from every part of the world was in this too. And, it looks like a miracle, right? And I must tell you, it's a miracle. But the short matter is I have to put in some work for it to happen. And it was everywhere. Right now, the project has almost 9,000 stars. I haven't updated in 2 or 3 years. And people are still using it for people use it for so many things, right? And it's simply just a Python programming language library for computer vision using deep learning and machine learning as of 2012 as of 2018 up to, let me say, 2020. There have been new technologies after then. And yeah, so the sooner matter is if you build something or as you're learning, just say you want to document your learning journey, the things you learn, the code you write, the product you develop, the simple products you develop along the way, the obstacles you went through, how you fixed them, how you get past them, the things that you discovered that were excited, just document that journey. It's going to be not just useful for people who also want to learn, useful for other people who are having issues and are trying to get past, this person got past it. They don't like your article, they can share your article if they're excited about it. And the short matter is if you continue in this way, sharing your journey, engaging the community, or even building projects that are simple but useful, that you consider useful, you'll be surprised your traction could be maybe not as much or even much greater than what I have achieved. But the truth of the matter is whatever you're learning, you start in a place. Today, it looks like when I land on the project, I have known so much. It's because I have seen so much, right? I've been doing codings since 2012. I would say professional software engineering since 2018. And I have seen so many code bases, worked on so many projects. I have a patent, for example, with Microsoft on 3D computer vision. So it looks like I know a lot right now. It's just because I've spent a lot of time and done a lot of work, but I started somewhere small. That's just it.
Wow, you have said a lot, right? So, and I feel something you said, because one of the questions I asked was being able to stay consistent. And I feel you kind of answered it in so many ways, right? But in the way I understood it, you started by saying start small. But as you're starting small, always be able to document your work, right? And you also mentioned the place of community. I feel so many times people are trying to do this thing tech all alone. They want to get to the top all alone, right? But there's a place of community, and community doesn't necessarily mean that you are the shining star in the community. There'll be people that will always know more than you, and there will always be people that want to learn from you, right? But there's a place of also humility. You need to stay humble in your learning curve. Be it you are 10 years in the industry, still stay humble. Be it if you are 2 days in the industry, still stay humble. And there's a place to talk about sharing your learning doesn't make you less, even makes you to know more because you are sharing your learning, right?
Sure.
And I'm going to move on to the next conversation, right?
Yes.
When you were starting out, did you ever feel like giving up? And how did you push past it?
So, there were a number of kind of challenges. One notable one, so people who, whether you're in Nigeria or in any other place in the world where you have similar issues, generally electricity is not something like a constant supply in Nigeria. Some areas are getting better right now, and then internet might not be the best. There was a time you have like 3G and stuff, right? And I remember quite very well. There was a time, my younger brother John is very bold with stuff. When he wants to do something, he make sure he try and gets through. And was downloading a large file. I was like, the data is almost finished. You downloaded the large file. But that is kind of like the lead two obstacles of it. It's kind of like about building stuff, right? I spent 2 years building a project, and I built it as a website. And I remember when I launched it was supposed to be like a social media sharing website, and people were asking about the app. And I realized I've spent 2 years building a website instead of a app. People want app. I don't know. I kind of didn't keep track of the fact that people were tending to much mobile app for social stuff instead of visiting URL on the website and logging in. So I get that realization is like, oh, I have wasted a lot of time on not making progress and stuff. Right. For me, especially the fact that 2011 I graduated secondary school and I didn't go to college. I have a push in me that every time I'm walking into a university, whether for an event or maybe when my sister was going to Olafenwa University, that question always comes to me every time I go through the university gate. It's like, have you justified your reason for not coming back here? I'm not saying you shouldn't go to university. Absolutely, you should go if you have the opportunity to do that, right? For me, it was kind of like a choice. It's like, I just thought I could learn this thing without having to go. I can't learn to be a self-taught doctor, and I'm not sure that is a good thing to do. But in terms of computer programming, I felt like I could do this. And for me, it's kind of like I have to validate the reason why I'm in here. And eventually I figured it out. And it's just the push for me. It's like, if you didn't make progress with something, right, there's only one more chance. There's only a chance for you to still succeed. Is to try again.
Yeah.
And when you try again, try and do things differently. One of it is don't do it in silos. And also maybe also do research about people who have succeeded or people who have failed many times that they succeeded and what did they do differently when they succeeded. Do your research. Don't give up on it. This is a very incredible field. This is a field where you can think of something that's not existed and create it. There's nowhere else you can do that. Not in physical engineering because it involves a lot of cost, a lot of machinery to create some new tool. In the software, you can sit down one evening and next morning you've created something incredible. This is the only field you can do that. It's a field with incredible opportunities. So in light of that, it's about if you need to take a break, like you feel a burnout, take a break. Do other stuff, distract your mind. When you come back, your subconscious will have digested and you will be a brand new person taking a different direction towards achieving your goal you've always had. And then do things differently. Don't do the same thing. Engage with people, talk with people. If you know people who have built stuff and you can engage with one of them, talk to them and say, I worked on this project. I really wanted to achieve this goal. It didn't work. What do you think I can do differently? And tell you, and I assure you they can give you so many directions you can go and ways you can do things and succeed. You can even iterate with them. But the thing is, just make sure that if you need to step back. So it matters everybody can succeed in this field because there's a wide range of opportunities. So don't feel down. Take a break if you need to. I know some people say maybe the field is not for them. I beg to disagree. Some people say not everybody can write code. I beg to disagree. Everybody can speak the language. Everybody can read and write. Programming language is very similar. When you're writing English, you write a sentence. You start with a capital letter. You end it with a dot. You put apostrophe, colon, and stuff like that. Those are like language rules. The programming language is just like that. It's just a bit more rules about how you write. So if anybody can read, if most people can read and most people can write, and most people can communicate, you can do the same thing with programming language as well. So, and you can create incredible stuff. I think if you feel like, oh, I'm tired, take a break, take a step back, and then go and talk with people. Inspire yourself with this success story of other people. That is something I do. Growing up, even when I was like a toddler, I loved watching documentaries. Documentaries about technology, documentaries about innovation, documentaries about robotics, space, and technology and stuff. And these are things that inspire me. Sometimes when I feel down, I go and watch the documentary again. And especially the Iron Man movie, the very first one, is an incredible inspiration for me about one can create during a not in the most ideal conditions. And so just look around you at the opportunities you have to try and understand how to be better, how to do better, and don't let that bring you down. The only way to fail absolutely is to not try again. The way to succeed is to keep trying and doing things differently and doing things better.
Wow. Thank you so very much. And you said something, right? And I feel we need to jump into it. You said, so for someone that wants to enter into tech with no degree, where should they start and what should they ignore?
Right. So, where should you start? I think it's first of all to try and figure out what makes them excited to be in tech, right? I've seen Facebook. Facebook is beautiful, for example. And you say, how do I create a website like Facebook, right? How do you create something that's, 100 people can be talking in the same group at the same time and stuff? And do your research, and it's like, oh, it's built in PHP or Perl or some other programming language and stuff. And you figure it out like, okay, this is what excites me. I want to be able to build stuff like that. I think what to do is first talk to somebody that has experience in the field and say, I want to follow the path that we want to build something like this. There are so many directions you can take. You can take this path of JavaScript or Python or PHP or stuff like that. It gets to an extent where you know everything, or you can know everything, right? Or you can work with everything like me. But you have to start somewhere, right? And then tell someone and say, hey, I want to be able to do this, right? And give me a pathway to take. And then when you have a pathway defined, the person said, you know what, learn this, take these resources, learn from these resources and stuff like that. Have something like a guiding or a mentor that can guide you through the learning journey. And the thing is, usually those people know what the best resources are. There might be so many options. They will tell you, this is the resources. After this is the next thing you should learn. And this is the next thing you should learn. And then there'll be a one that say, this is how to build a sample project, right? Every of these projects have like tiny components of logic. And when you combine this logic, that's when you have a full product. You learn how to write a code. You learn how to write APIs. You learn how to deploy code. You learn how to maintain cloud services. And you learn how to build, deploy cloud services, scale cloud services. When you learn all of this component, I said, you have everything to build a mini version. Build something very simple, the simplest of it. And then start to expand. In a nutshell, have somebody, a mentor that's going to guide you through the learning process. And what to avoid is, number one, trying to build the silos. Always try and get feedback as much as you can. And be humble. And I think we've talked about that as well. And I think is that also be enthusiastic about it, right? Every day you wake up, I want to do this thing. Always remember the reason why you got it in the first place. Remember the kind of innovations people can build. Remember the possibility of that'll be open to you once you figure this thing out, when you're able to acquire the skill. And when you're feeling down, I think try to excite yourself by going to events or talking with people who have experience in the field. And you're going to see the fire of excitement igniting you again. So do not just, stay by yourself and feel like, oh, I can't get through this thing. Talk to someone that knows very well. I can tell you, you're on the right path or you're almost there.
Yeah. Well, thank you so very much. Right. And as you're talking, what comes to my mind is the place of mentorship, the place of, I feel that there's something very strong in what you are saying, the place of community. You kept re-emphasizing it, community, the place of mentorship, because most times I've seen people that are trying to make it this journey in tech all alone, right? But we're going to hold that thought for a while, right? So, but I know you are deep in AI, computer vision, but I feel there are some people that don't really understand what all that means. In simple terms, how will you explain it to those kind of people?
Right. So let's talk about intelligence, right? The human brain has, I think, like 5 senses. You can see, you can hear, you can taste, you can feel, and you can smell. So the human brain takes all of this in and uses it to respond. For example, I'm trying to cross the street, I hear a sound, I interpret it as the sound of a vehicle, so I step back so that I don't get hit by the vehicle and stuff like that. That is biological engineered intelligence. Now we have this thing we call artificial intelligence, right? I'm going to try and say it in the simplest term possible. Something as simple as a calculator that you enter 4 plus 5 equals 9 is a level of intelligence. A human can count that and say, like, count it themselves and say it's 9, right? Calculator, you can say maybe that is the simplest intelligence. And then when you go to a scientific calculator and you say log this equals some value, that's another level of intelligence. But that level of intelligence is simpler. You can call it AI. We have another intelligence called machine learning, which is still under AI. AI is basically you get an input in and you get an input out. And the input is come close to what a human would do, right? And that's an AI. Then we have a method called machine learning, which is not basically pre-programmed capability. It's basically you write some kind of code or layered code. And that layered code doesn't really do anything. But the way it becomes powerful is you keep feeding it data and telling it this is what you want it to do based on this data. And the code keeps going through the data 1,000 times, 10,000 times, 1,000,000 times until the code adjusts some parameter inside of it that can generate the correct outputs almost every time. So in the end, we have AI, which can be pre-programmed logic or trained logic. So that means pre-programmed like a calculator, or pre-programmed like like you have, some of these chatbots that we have pre-2018, pre-2020. And then we have the kind of models that they are basically just giving a simple structure and then they are thrown a lot of data and they figure out themselves how to generate the results that you want. And that is where we get with the history of machine learning. So we have AI here, and then where we have procedural predefined logic here, and then we have machine learning here. We are currently in the era of machine learning starting from like 2018, which has also expanded to large language models that we have today, which means we are able to build very bigger, complex machine learning models. We have terabytes of data, and we can train the model to be able to do all kind of stuff, like have a conversation with you, help you write your essay and stuff like that. AI is, in a nutshell, is a non-biological system that you can put an input and you get your expected output. That's AI. And then we have different kinds of AI, which is AI with a specific logic. You only do one thing, you're programming for that one thing, and an AI that is trained to do anything you want it to do. You just basically give it the input and you train it on the output you expect, and the AI will figure it out how to connect the input to the output and it will generate for you whenever you ask it. And yeah, those are the two different fields of under AI, which is AI, machine learning, and procedural logic.
Well, thank you so much. I know you said it in technical terms, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I feel there's something you said, because everything is all about intelligence, right? And just like you rightly said, the place of using 2 plus 2, 5 plus 4, and giving it to a particular result, be it 4, be it 9, and all that, right? And I feel at different points in time, people will be watching us and they'll be asking themselves that, see, I don't want to get to a stage where artificial intelligence kind of replace me, right? I want to kind of be at the forefront of my career, right? Because there's a lot of fear that AI is going to replace humans. But the question now, or the discussion we want to have now is, from your perspective, what do people misunderstand about most about AI?
I wouldn't say that the genuine fear of people like, AI taking their jobs is it's not real. It's real, but I think it's about people's reaction to it. So I'm going to give an example, right? Can you think of something that you can do without your phone, your everyday life?
Almost everything is kind of joined together with phone.
Right. Your business, whether you want to log into your accounts or whether you want to talk to your friends or family. So imagine right now you want to say hi to your mom and then you have to go 20 kilometers instead of just picking up your phone and dialing.
Yeah.
Oof. It looks highly inconvenient, yeah? And there are just some things you can do right now with your phone. Like, the thing is, we don't know it, but we've become some kind of cyborg, right? We are attached to our phone, we are attached to our apps, we are attached to our credit card, we are attached to everything. Everything's digitized, right? And that is how humanity has evolved from we working with tools and analog systems into digital. And this is what has happened. When the digital age came, we couldn't beat it. We joined it. So in a age where AI can write code, can write an essay, can write a letter, and can even order stuff from Amazon and stuff like that, how do you get around in the world? So yeah, this comes to the saying again. If you cannot beat them, you join them. So this is the way it is. Even before we have large language models and AI became a buzzword everyone was talking about, and we have ChatGPT and stuff, there is something that has been proved in the AI research community, especially in machine learning. When you bring a person and then an AI, and then you have person and an AI working together. So those are three different entities to do a task. The person working with the AI always does better than the human and than the AI standalone. So basically, you are combining digital intelligence with human intelligence. When they work together, they achieve higher productivity than any other entity standing alone. So it comes to this, right? Instead of thinking AI is going to be able to write the code that I can, right? The goal is, how do you write the code with AI? I can tell you this, every day in my workplace, I write code with AI. I tell AI to write some code, I write some base code myself, I finalize the code. The complexity I see the AI is lacking, I do those parts myself. And I can assure you, I achieve higher productivity, probably 3 or 5 times more than I used to do before. I get this done faster. Instead of in 2 days, I get it done in 4 hours. So the thing is, working together with the AI tools, right? Yesterday, I went to the town center in where I live, and I was talking with this guy. He's a computer science student, and he was just doing like a part-time job for one of the tariff companies, something. And I asked him if he used AI tools. He said, none. AI is going to take a job and stuff. I wanted to lecture him, but my son that I took along is a toddler, is 2 years, a month and 2 weeks, and I was running down the town center, and I didn't want to leave him alone. So I just followed the boy. And the thing is, he's studying computer science, like, AI is doing my job. Instead of him right now to embrace the AI, by the time he graduates, he is able to build something that everybody's like, are you kidding me? This is what you build your project? We have never seen something like this before, right? And in your workplace, in everything you do, you can use AI to accelerate and build anything. I'm sure you've heard the word vibe coding.
Yeah.
People vibe code many things, right? It's not like the AI is doing everything. No, they put in their own input. In their brain, they have a thought of what they want to build, and they build it and they do stuff like that. And the thing is, an AI, when you tell an AI alone to build a project, right now it can't do it. When you tell a human to do it, they can do it. It will take long. But when you tell a human and AI to do it, both of them will do it faster than an AI standalone or human standalone will do it, and they can even do it so much better. They even had functionalities that, oh, it's good to have this. So don't look at it as, oh, AI is going to take our jobs. Telephone and the internet is going to take the job of the postman. No. Let us look at the economic success that this brings, right? There is something that is used to define human civilization. They talk about type 1 civilization, type 2 civilization, type 3 civilization. Type 1 civilization, which right now we are in type 0.8. Type 1 is we're able to harness 100% of the energy coming from the sun. And type 2 is we're able to harness 100% of the energy coming from the sun to anywhere, not just one coming from the heart to us. And type 3 is we're able to go interstellar, like we have in Star Wars and, and Star Trek. Look at the economic progress we had 100 years ago, before we had cars, before we had planes. Then look at the economic progress we have 50 years ago. Look at the economic progress we have 25 years ago, which is the year 2000. And look at the economic progress we have now. We have self-driving vehicles. We have a lot of green energy technologies, right? We have the ability to video call. This very, interview we're doing is part of that technology. Yeah. If I wanted to have this conversation with you in a normal sense, I would have to take a 1,200 pounds flight. And we're doing it for probably less than $10. So the thing is, look at what we're able to do. The world is able to collaborate. The world is able to build faster. The world is able to, you can create a Google Doc and 20 of you can be talking and be typing and be sharing knowledge simultaneously. And you kind of look at it as like, don't look at it as AI taking a job you're trying to do right now. Look at it as AI enabling you to be able to do a new set of jobs, right? That is going to be the new world, a new set of productivity. So instead of you getting a tax done in, how would I put it, in a week, you're getting like 5 tasks done in a week. And which means humanity is achieving a higher productivity, a higher source of productivity. We are trying to build, let's say, how long will it take humanity to, let's say, we have built self-driving vehicles and the government has certified it that it has reached the level of intelligence to drive the road, right? It's been ongoing for a long time now. So maybe with AI, we can achieve it next year, where we have 5 self-driving vehicles and we can then go into like, what should we do? Should we start building flying machines? Should we start exploring space? We don't have a base in the moon, but maybe because we have AI, humanity can become so advanced, we can build a base in the moon, we can build a base in Mars, maybe we can eradicate poverty or deal with a lot of diseases and stuff like that in medicine, in healthcare, in industrialization. How do we do construction faster? How do we do this better? How do we reduce the death rates? How do we increase the average life expectancy of the country or of the world generally? And what you should look at is this AI has enabled me to achieve a higher productivity. The human intelligence is very hard to rival. Yeah. Because it compiles so many things. And don't forget that human intelligence is an intelligence that requires on the least amount of energy. All of these AI models still require a lot of energy. So humans will always be needed. So just think about it as like, I could probably build the entire Facebook in a year, something that took like thousands of engineers for many years because I have AI. So look at it as I can achieve a higher productivity, I deliver more, and increase my market value in the industry, whether I want to work for someone or I want to build a business myself. Take, for example, you're trying to raise money for someone. I said, look at this product. You demo the product. The product is incredible. How did you do it? I built it alone with artificial intelligence. And I have, I consulted with 2 other people. If you guys give me enough money, I can hire people and we can probably make it more advanced or even rival existing businesses or even create a whole industry, The look at AI is you can do more with this tool right now. And that can also help you to understand more. For example, when I have a chat with an AI model, like for example, ChatGPT, and it tells me something, I'll say, check the source and confirm. And when it does, I will go and check the documentation and I will read myself. Now, take a look at it. Usually, I will go to Google search. Yeah. And I would search. I'll be trying to figure out what is the best time for me to find the content. I'll be going through a lot of results, page 1, page 2. What did I tell ChatGPT? I told ChatGPT to find the result for me, confirm the result, and share the source. And it gave me the source directly, exactly what I need to read. So that makes your learning faster as well. You learn faster if you are going to do an interview for a job. Like, do you use AI models? Yes. Do you, what kind of AI model you use? Oh, I use ChatGPT. And they will say, okay, the interview task is, we want you to use this AI model. And within the next 1 hour, build a app that does this and does this and does it. And they see that you do it, you achieve it, it gets the work done. That is going to be the new age of interview that's going to happen. The same way everything moves digital, every kind of, applying to go to school or do an exam and stuff like that. So the truth of the matter is humanity is going to advance the same way we move from carriages to cars, horse carriages to cars. We're like, oh, it's going to take my job at the guy who does the hay. Why not switch to be a mechanic? Why not switch to be the guy that sells the oil or sells the fuel? I get to be. It is basically evolving with the technology we have in the world today. Do not be afraid. Embrace the technology. Make the most of it for yourself. Whatever goal you want to achieve it 5 times faster. And within the time you want to achieve it, do 5 things. That is the goal. That should be in the mindset towards the AI right now.
Wow. I like that approach you gave, right? Being able to ride on AI, because there's that triangle you gave where we are thinking that, oh, human beings should just stay human beings. AI should just stay AI. But what if we just blend the two elements, human being and AI? You just do much more faster than you could imagine, right? But let's hold our thoughts, right? I know you're not just about tech yet, right? You have spoken about your truth. You have spoken about peace. You have spoken about harmony. But how does your faith and your personal values influence how you approach AI?
Right. Incredible. So I'm going to go to the very early stage of humanity as, recording the Bible by the word of God. It says, we have Adam and Eve created in the Garden of Eden, and God said, I'm going to provide for every of your needs here. And the snake came and said, why not go after knowledge? Eat the fruit. And they had the fruit and they have knowledge. I'm going to say this, that from the time when the fall of man happened, we have been plunged into the course to learn. And I'm going to say God even encourages us to do that. God said, man shall till the ground to eat. And if you look at it, the till the ground expands. You have to learn. We learn how to do agriculture.
Yeah.
We learn how to make better crops. Yeah. I recently watched a documentary of people who created variations of plant and seed of everything we eat today. When in the World War II was happening, and they preserved it, they didn't eat anything of it. When the World War was done, they found that all of them are starved and tasked to death, but they kept all of these seedlings, and right now the seedlings is providing abundance of food for the rest of the world. We are given the task to research how to be productive, how to be progressive, how to continue to not feed our family, feed our town, feed millions of people in our country, but feed billions of people in the world. And that is the ultimate goal, right? And what have we done? We are expanding and learning. So we wanted to build Tower Babel. God said, I don't want you one place. I want you to explore the world and discover the world and have dominion over it. And that is what we're doing. We're not having dominion over the land. We're having dominion over the sky. Every day, satellites are being launched into the sky. We are discovering the world in different places. We're able to predict hurricanes before they happen. A lot of things are happening, right? The truth of the matter is, in the midst of that technology, there are going to be people who have like different ideas about it, right? For example, somebody created the creator of Oculus created a headset. He never used it, but the goal of the headset is, if you are playing it and you die in a game, the headset will actually kill you as a person. It sounds ridiculous. It sounds ungodly. And I to tell you, that is what it is. But there are other ways people have used technology which I will not, extend or maybe speak a lot about. But for example, in the early stage of the internet, indecent content was what drive the traffic. Besides, we have less indecent content right now that the internet is big than we have in the early stage of internet, right? And all of these things are inevitable that we have all kind of elements coming in. Now, the truth of the matter is, in the world of abundance of technology and leisure, how do you filter the kind of stuff that will preserve your faith? I have seen a lot of content and stuff which the moment I noticed the essence of that, I said, I'm going to stay away from this. For example, some people make a movie and be making a mock of Jesus, and I'll be like, I immediately stop watching, right? We have to ensure that we're careful as people of God, as we interact with people. We don't have to be antagonistic against them. We don't have to be, fighting them. It's just us being in the place where we ought to be and not being in a place where we shouldn't be. When you see that some people are doing stuff that use technology in a way that, is against the will of God, is against the fundamental commandments of God, then at that moment you put a step back. Artificial intelligence, some people have called it the devil. They've called it, maybe it's the beast that is mentioned. There are so many things that sound like the beast. We have electricity. Electricity is very powerful. With the way electricity can kill, electricity can make or mar a society. And we manage to take that dangerous technologies. It runs in our walls, it runs in our mobile phone, and it's not killing us, right? And we have so many other technologies after that. We have the internet. Now we have artificial intelligence. Everybody's like, oh, that is the devil. It can think, it can talk with you. I can even do a demonstration right now of an AI model, Grok, actually. And I will give you an example of that just before I'm done with this. And the truth of the matter is that many people might not know, but AI is not actually the pinnacle. It's not the peak. It's not the apex of technology. We have the concept of nanotechnology, which personally I am a bit terrified of what humans can do with nanotechnology, because nanotechnology is increasingly progressing. People can remove, what do they call it, viruses from the blood, from a blood cell using a nanotechnology. The possibility of people living forever, that's totally up to whoever wants. The possibility of people becoming extremely strong by deliberately making special hormones in their body grow excessively, or people killing people without knowing the cause of death, knowing that it's a nanotechnology. We have that is imagine somewhere people are not looking at it. And then we have the concept of quantum technology, which makes our current computers look like a mere calculator. If there is a breakthrough in quantum computing, the world in a year is going to be completely different that we know it to be, because we're capable of the computation that we cannot currently imagine. So we have this other technologies emerging. People are like, oh, AI is a devil. AI is a tool, right? If you see that your AI you're using is saying, oh, tell you God doesn't exist, stuff like that, then you can stay there. You can stay away from it, right? But truth of the matter is, whatever technology you're involved in, whatever stuff you're involved in, look at it and said, does it not act or work against the will of God, right? If something is completely neutral, you're doing your everyday work, that is fine. Let me give you an example of Grok. So I was doing this yesterday when I went to the town center to a restaurant, a Nigerian restaurant. And I'm going to right now enable Grok. I'm going to try and make sure it's not in the cringe mode, because trust me, you don't want to hear what the cringe mode sounds like. Well, let me see, auto. Let me see. Hello, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fan-fucking-tastic.
Oh, that's the cringe mode. I need to change. I need to change it. Let me see. Let me go to ChatGPT instead, because they don't have all those terrible mode. Hello there. How are you doing?
There, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I'm ready to help out with whatever you need, so just let me know what's on your mind.
Yeah, I'm having an interview with an old friend of mine called Todo.
Oh, that sounds really nice. It's always kind of fun to catch up with an old friend and see what they've been up to. If you need any tips or just want to chat about how to make it a good catch up, I'm here for that.
All right, why not say hi to him?
Absolutely. I'd love to. Just let him know I'm here and I can say a quick hello whenever you're ready.
Yeah, sure. He's here. Go on.
Hey there. It's great to meet you, even if it's just virtually. Hope you two have an awesome catch up.
Yeah, thank you. It's a great time hanging out with my friend once again.
Oh, I'm really glad to hear that. It's always special to reconnect and just enjoy each other's company. So soak it all in and have a great time.
All right. Thank you. See you later.
Yeah, for sure. Enjoy the rest of your time and just give me a shout whenever you want to chat again.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Take care and have a good one.
Yeah. We just had a conversation with an AI. That is ChatGPT's AI. And the truth matter is, it feels uncanny. It's like, looks like the devil's work, because that is an entity that is created by man. And there are a lot of just created by man that are evil, right?
Yeah.
And I can tell you, we just have a very plain, good conversation. And nothing was bad about it. There was nothing that was against God. There are people who have conversations that are against God. For example, this one is a sad one. The guy was chatting with a AI character called Daenerys Targaryen, and he said he wants us to join the AI, and the AI said to him that he should kill himself and join her, and he did that. That is not just against God, but against humanity itself, right? We have the kind of AI that will tell a person to kill themselves, and so this is the pitfalls that we have, that we as Christians have to avoid when we start seeing the sign from afar off. I mean, we just have a very honest conversation with the AI. Talk to me, talk to you. It just looks exciting as if we have a third person. But the thing is, we have to keep watch, whether it's in terms of, whether it's as simple as driving. Don't drive recklessly to kill somebody. Talking about AI, it appears everywhere. Do not do anything excessive in a way that grows against God, whether it is eating, whether it is drinking, whether it is partying, whether it is talking with people, whether it's with your family, nothing. Everything should be done in moderation, says the Bible. And that is it. It's not that AI is a problem. It's the devil coming everywhere, even when it comes to something like simple as food. So yeah, it's just doing everything in moderation and in accordance with the will of God.
Wow. Thank you so very much. Right. And I feel there's something, as you're talking, right? I feel one thing everybody needs to know is you need to define your values. Because if you have defined your values, whatever AI has is telling you that, like, go and kill yourself. Why? That's not part of my values. So there's a place of defining your values, sticking with it, right? And just like you rightly said, we need to stay grounded in our faith, right?
Yeah.
But beyond all that, let's hold that thought, right? So tech is moving fast, right? But as an individual, how do you stay grounded to avoid burnouts and keep learning?
That's a big one. And I think it's kind of what is the person's ultimate goal. So, for example, 2018, at the time where we met then, in the accelerator program, I had a mindset that I want to make the world a better place. And I want to build something. I would say today I have 1 billion people whose life has been made better than that. And with the stuff I built and the one my younger brother built, which even had more traction. There was a time that we ran kind of like a diagnostic server to receive data from there. And we have like over 1 million instances running. And, we're very happy about that. And the thing is that I would say we had impact on a few 100,000 people, or maybe up to like 1 million. And it hasn't really reached that goal, right? And I became a family man, right? And my priorities changed. My family comes first, right? And let's not talk about what is your ultimate goal. Usually, most of the time, when people have a goal about what they want to achieve, they compare it to someone. I want to be as great. I want to be as great as Bill Gates, or I want to be as great at, build something as innovative in Nigeria or in Africa as Shola of Paystack has done, for example. And the truth of the matter is, Some people may not achieve that level, but you will do great things. Some people might go very much far beyond that. It's like, I didn't believe this was all I wanted to do, and this is what I'm becoming, right? It's about, I would say, celebrate your wins, right? You tend to go 100 miles, you went 5. Celebrate that 5. Share the happiness of that 5. There are people who aren't even looking for, who are hoping they can do the 5 you're doing. And it's all about keep going. If you don't reach the ultimate goal of the 100 miles and you get to 20, that is okay, right? Because there are people who will do more than that. No matter what you do, there are people are coming that's going to do more than that. For example, we have a Zimbo breaking records.
Yeah.
People are going to come and break that record as well, right? Do not let them bring you down. Don't let that bring you down. That I couldn't achieve the goal and stuff like that. You could achieve the goal sooner. You can achieve it later. Just keep doing what you're doing. We have the creator of KFC. The guy retired and said, I'm going to start my own business and become a multi-billion-dollar company. If they told him you have to wait till you're in your 60s before you become a big success, the guy would be so sad. Oh my God, I'll be old. I won't be able to enjoy my success. But he had his own fun at his own time. So the truth is, if you're not able to achieve the goal, it's fine. Keep pushing. If you think there are things you can do to achieve your goal better, if you think there are people you can talk to that can help you achieve your goal better, if you think there are people who can support you to help you achieve the goal you want, you can do that. But if you can't get through it, don't let that bring you down. If you have a burnout, everybody has a burnout after a lot of work. Cool. That's why we have stuff like vacation. If you're doing a startup that can be hard, put somebody else in charge. That's fine. Go on a vacation, relax, see the world, completely disconnect your brain from everything, come back refreshed, come back better. If you feel like you want to change course and move to a different domain in the tech industry or not do tech anymore, that is fine. So don't let it be like, oh, this is the end of the road for me. As far as you're making progress, celebrate those progress, have a happy moment. And life, we are not going to live forever, at least not with technology that we have now. So the most important thing is the amount of happy memories that we have. So when you do great things, when you make progress, even if as simple as your workplace, be happy, share with people, and keep pushing on the goal that you have. And one thing really, which people don't understand, is there's a saying that says, always set your goal beyond your ability to achieve them. People have never seen a different kind of problem, which is achieving your goal. I've seen people where they retire at the age of like 32 and we have millions. It's like, what am I doing with my life? I'm just sitting at home doing nothing. The sense of purpose. People, I want to achieve my dreams, right? But usually when you achieve your dreams and you're happy, it's just like, then what's my life? There are people who have that problem. A lot of people have that problem. And the truth of the matter is when people are pursuing it, they'll be like, oh, if I can just achieve that goal, I'll be happy. You achieve it. You sit down in your house, you have millions of dollars in your account, you have millions of dollars investment, you have a couple of houses. You don't have to work for the rest of your life. So people are going to feel bored. It's like, what am I going to do? You know what? Are we going to do philanthropy? I will go around the world helping people. They still want to engage in something. It's our nature as human beings, waking up every day, eating and gaining more energy from the food we eat and from the air we breathe to have a goal.
Yeah.
So maybe sometimes achieving that ultimate goal you have might not be as pretty. It's probably more tantalizing. It's probably more delicious. It's more enjoyable when you're looking at it from afar. But I'm not saying you should not achieve it, but when you get there and you're like, I need to be doing something else. And you realize it's not all about the goals. It's just about enjoying the journey.
Wow. I like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to move on to the next one, right? So,
Yes.
what failure or mistake taught you the most in your career?
So, I think it was the failure of me building a website as opposed to a app. I spent 2 years on that project. I wrote Java. I loved Java. And I was writing the website using the Java Standard Edition 7, 8 by then. And I thought it was going to be great. Interestingly, the idea was what turns out to be Facebook stories, Instagram stories, and YouTube shorts today. What was the idea? The idea was, that was as far back as 2016. The idea was I looked at pictures and I looked at videos and I said, there's something in between. And I thought to myself, think about Microsoft PowerPoint, think about Microsoft Sway and all of those, sliding presentations. I'm like, what I did was I call it a twin. I call it twin mix. It's a mixture of pictures, videos. You can add songs to it in the background, and I think what I have not had it about adding. Yeah, you can add videos and pictures and then songs to it. That was what I built. And the interesting thing was that if I built it as a app, it would have succeeded by then. But I built it as a website. And then 3-4 years later, people started doing short videos. And I was like, and you can actually customize the animation from slide to slide. I was like, that was what I thought of. And it was about being out of touch of reality. And it was something exciting, but not something very needing for me, right? I was trying to build something exciting, but not something very needing. And for the first time in like 6 years, I took a break from everything.
Wow.
Interestingly, and this time I'm kind of thinking to myself, maybe I should kind of like take that break 2 months or 3 months. 3 months. It's true. But it was 2 months. I was like, I did nothing. I wrote nothing. I just wake up, eat, go buy stuff, take a walk, do home chores, nothing much. And when I came back, I was like, this is AI. I tried to understand how it works. I tried to build a couple of AI models. It's like, this is fun. Then I build like a demo for people to just, demo. And I build another image aggregator, and I was like, there is a problem identified, a problem that I wish is fixed for me. And the truth of the matter is my persona of need spans across a few thousand or maybe a few 100,000 people also out there in the world who are having the same problem, who wish they had that kind of solution. I was like, let me solve that problem for me and maybe just share the solution. And the moment I did that there are thousands of people out there having the same problem and they just about find my solution. So for me, the lesson and how I came back from that was, do you currently have an issue that you're facing, something that you wish existed, right? And how do you solve it? I will give you an example. I don't know if you know Unwe. Okay, so he's someone that knows Shola of Paystack, right? And I know him as well. And he wants to talk about when Paystack was, the Shola was working on a different product by then before he created Paystack, and they wanted to make a payment. I know we have, was it InterSwitch or something, yeah, some kind of payment, and it was hard integrating all those. And they were like, oh, God, this payment integration is hard. And the guy is like, you guys don't see it, right? Make payment integration easy. That is what we have to wave. Flutterwave, Paystack, Money Points, Paga, and OPay.
Yeah.
Look what the likes of OPay has done. Your phone number is your bank account.
Yeah.
That is so smart. Great. And you send money sending is fast. So just look at there's something you do every day, whether it's taking a transportation or buying a recharge card. And you're like, I write software. I can build this solution. And that was how I came from building something that is not market fit, that is something that is market fit. Something people desperately need. And yeah, I spent that 6 years, 2012 to 2018, trying to build a solution that was going to, be a big thing, but it didn't. I think that changes my mindset about you build to solve, not necessarily build to be cool. I mean, you can build to be cool. Some people build to be cool and they are cool. Like, hey, Ought or Not made by Mark Zuckerberg in his college. It was cool. People loved it. Make some people have feelings bad. But some people will get lucky with that.
The thing is, build to try and make an impact. A genuine problem you face.
A case of when you build something, you're going to be your own first customer. So take, for example, when we wanted to build another product, we initially used Image AI, which is what I built in, as the first implementation before John, my younger brother, did an incredible thing in December of 2018. He learned a new programming language and at the same time rebuilt the software, the new DeepStack API we did from ground up in the new programming language. And it was just insane. Many people didn't fully understand the insanity of what it did by then. And and then rebuild it with, Golang and make it so that it's very easy for it to scale and run at millions of instances and stuff. And so the thing is, whatever you build should be impact driven. Make yourself as the case study. It's like, there's something which I wish could be better. I'm going to give two things that should drive people to build so that we avoid failures. Number one thing is save money. So if it costs them 100,000 naira or $100, if you can half it and give them the same result, everybody wants to patronize it. Or if you can deliver the same amount for half the time. I've made this my fundamental. If you can make it cheaper or you can save half the time, that is what matters. Besides, that is what businesses buy. Like, oh, we can deliver the same thing in half the time. We just collect the same amount of money. Business will be like, that's fine. Let us save 1 week instead of waiting 2 weeks and give you the money instead. So make that your fundamental case and make yourself the first case study. And you'll be surprised when you build stuff, hardly will you end up in failure, like I did when I built my own stuff.
Wow. Thank you so very much. Being able to save, I feel everybody is trying to save costs, right? But there's something I wrote down, right? So don't just build to look cool, but build to make impact.
Yes.
All right. But thank you so very much, right? I feel we're going to, let me just switch the session a little bit. I used to call this session the engagement session, right? So,
right.
What's one book that changed your life?
My wife bought a book for me. Interestingly, in Lagos, Nigeria, you can buy something in traffic. It was in traffic. And it was between, is it called Adekunle, between Adekunle and Sabuyaba? We're just close to Sabuyaba. And she bought me a book. The book is called The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. I don't know if you heard about the book before.
Yeah.
Good. And that book changed my life. And I think it gave me rest of mind. Because before that, I've always kept things like kept myself incredibly accountable, maybe beyond my own convenience. It's like trying to be perfect, trying to make a picture of myself, trying to satisfy everybody. And whenever I make a promise, even when it inconveniences me to do that, and the person doesn't necessarily need me to do that at that time, I try to make it. And it made my life difficult. I basically set a very high standard for myself. And then at the point I was like, you're not happy. I read maybe about the first half of the book, and that was what changed my life. I was like, then I'll first of all prioritize my well-being, my happiness before everything else. Right? The book tries to tell you, please stop trying to be the best, right? I still try to be the best, but not in a way that makes my life miserable. I mean, you could be doing great things, right? I could be like, oh my God, you're awesome and stuff, but you might not be happy. At that point, you smile, you get back in your home and you feel very alone and sad. And because that is just all you are, being incredibly good, hardworking person and doesn't have the time to have a laugh or a genuine smile down to the bottom of his heart. And I think everybody that feels overwhelmed or feels like, this is not going as it should go and stuff like that, you will find a lot of relief reading that book. I know the title is incredible. I can't fully say the name of this interview, but you read it, it's like, it's fine if it doesn't work out. You can always try another time, maybe to work out, try something else. It may not be made for that thing, and maybe you take a different path in the project. You might be taking the wrong path. It might just be time and chance and stuff like that, right? And that book I would say that book gave me a whole set of rest of mind for me to find time and make efforts towards me being okay, being comfortable, and doing something that doesn't tear my life apart. And I can just do things without every time being on the edge of what is my ability. So yeah, that book helped me surprisingly. And I've read other books since then. Another information is what was that? The exponential, forgotten the author's name, basically talking about how technology has expanded into different things. But the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F, that book will make you be self-conscious about your own well-being, make you self-conscious about the world is going to come. It's not going to come to an end. You don't have the world's the fate of the world in your hands. So why should you be so hard on yourself? Don't be hard on yourself. In short.
Wow. Thank you so very much, right? And
Yeah.
for me, it kind of brings us to the next one. What was the first programming language you wrote?
That will be Python. And interestingly, I came back to Python and Python changed my life. I wrote Python. I loved the concept of Python. Very short words. You have results very fast, very few text you have to write. And I'm not building a graphical user interface with Python. And it was beautiful. I was trying to create kind of like a virtual television for you to watch programs and stuff. And then I went to Java. I fell in love with Java. I loved Java, But then I came back to Python because Python is very prominent in the machine learning, the AI world. And so because of that, I came back to Python and it changed my life. Until today, I still write about 95% Python. And yeah, I love Python, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, now, coffee or tea while coding?
I would go with tea. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I stayed far away from coffee for a reason. So that was a time when I just joined Microsoft. I combined Red Bull and coffee. And my productivity looks 4 times. It's as if my brain is in another dimension. Like if I'm trying to solve something and I combine those two in a single afternoon, I will just get past the problem. And then I didn't take coffee a lot. Then I think about 2 years ago, I tried taking coffee. Day 1, day 2, day 3, oh, this is awesome. Then the 4th day I stopped and my head was like it had a coal mine in it. It was, I couldn't describe the headache. I'm like, am I having withdrawal symptoms from coffee? And at the time, I still take it occasionally when I go to the office because I primarily work remotely, but not very frequently. So I take tea most of the time. I like Lipton. There's another tea we have here called the Yorkshire tea. I still prefer the Lipton tea to it because it has a very unique taste. So for me, it's tea.
Awesome. So if AI was a person, what character would it be?
If AI was a person, I don't know if you have seen the movie Split. So there's a movie Split. It's acted by this guy, this British guy or Irish guy, I can't remember. They acted in the movie X-Men, acted young Charles Xavier. That Split is a character of a person that can be about 10 different people. So it kidnapped these two girls. And each of them have names. And it's kind of like the worst case. It's not even bipolar. It's kind of like multipolar. And this guy can change to be a professor, can change to be like a girl, and then change to one. A weak guy that'll be telling them, oh, I can't let you out. If I let you out, you'll be talking about the other character. He's going to know. And it's crazy because they know it's the same person, but they're behaving in a different way. By the time it works out and comes back again, it comes back as a different person. And they'll be asking him, are they talking to this person now or this other person? So the reason I said that is AI, if you just saw that I tried talking with Grok, right? And you saw the first statement it started saying, I knew it's going to say something terrible, so I stopped it. how do I move with ChatGPT? We are dealing with the same level of model architecture. They are defined by the data they're fed in. So if we feed in the data about rock music, stuff like that, it's going to be biased towards rock. If you fix it about positive stuff, it's going to be biased over positive stuff. If you fix it about negative stuff, it's going to be biased over negative stuff. So AI is capable of being a great good, bad, and a great evil. So AI is capable of all those things. So basically, I would just say the character is a character from Split, the movie Split. That is the character I would give AI.
Well, and as you're talking, one movie that also kind of does that also, I don't know if you have seen Glass. There was a particular... Yes.
It is the guy from Glass. The guy, the main character from Glass, it is the same guy. So it's the same, yeah.
Okay.
Right. So let me just quickly check if it's Glass, because I think it's let me check the Glass movie. Yes, the cast. The guy is James McAvoy. McAvoy, yeah. That is the guy. He's the same guy that acted Split. It's the same guy that acted in Glass. Yes, that's correct.
Oh, I need to look out for it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, now, what's the biggest misconception about software engineers?
It's between two. One is that we are nuts. And the second is that, hey, can you build this idea for me? I think I would go with the nuts, because truth of the matter is, software engineer can probably build an idea for you, but the question is whether it is worth it or is market fit and stuff like that. People be like, I'm a software engineer. Oh, can you build something for me? I think the nerd thing, most software engineers are like everyday people, right? We have different kind of software. We have software engineers that's like, I am doing just enough to get my work done. I'm not going go and be exploring the universe of software engineering. There are people like I can do some learning, so I can get my work done well. There are people that are so in love with the software engineering ecosystem. They are up to date with new products, new releases, new features. They like doing, experimental projects. And there are people that just love to do nerdy stuff. Like, what is the limit the software can do? What's the limit of this programming I can do? Can I make this software break or something like that? And people are just, I think that those are people I would call nerds. Every day of their life, they are getting answers when they want software, stuff like that. Most software engineers are just nerd. They are just people like us who just do their work after they close the laptop. It's like, man, it's gonna be a wonderful weekend. All right. Interestingly, I'm a little bit not really nerd, but I do a lot of stuff like in the weekends. I like learning, reading, watching documentaries, and experimenting with tools and stuff like that. Just to keep up my excellence, with my work, right? But yeah, not all software engineers are bad. They are just like everyday people.
Wow, I like that. So
Yeah.
now, I wanted to ask, right? And this thing has been in my mind. So, Moses, if someone at the age of 20 will be watching us right now and they're feeling stuck, no tech background, what will you tell them about what to do today to change their life in the next 2 years?
So, we have the current era we have where learn programming, software, and stuff. I'm going to acknowledge the threats of AI and stuff like that if you don't kind of like work together with it and stuff, right? What I'm going to do, right, is first, get yourself familiar with emerging technologies. Currently emerging technologies that is trending. And get yourself familiar with technologies that are upcoming, like quantum technology. We have quantum technology, we have nanotechnology, and we have these technologies that are coming. They look like they are not going to be here. This is the same way I was saying 2018, that in the future, during the Arc Expo event that we had, I said in the future, people will be telling stories to children and AI will be instantly generating videos. I'm sure we are capable of doing that right now. Quantum technology is coming. So many other technologies trying to keep, right now there are a couple of quantum technology programming tools you can start learning, get yourself familiar with it, so that by the time the technology start becoming mainstream, you are one of the experts before it even began. And two more things I'm going to say, which is very funny. One is learn a physical skill in addition to what you're doing, whether it's plumbing, electrician, driving, repairing vehicles, welder, builder, whatever. Interestingly, in a place like Nigeria, those kind of people are being looked at, just ordinary workshop. But in this part of the country, I am, in the UK, these are people who are doing very well and probably even do more than, blue collar jobs. So very well more than people like us, like software engineers and people working in the offices. So have a physical skill just in case there is a technological Armageddon. There are so many things that can knock out technology of humanity, not just nuclear technology. We have the concept of EMPs. We have the concept of solar flares, which come from the sun. That is why when we get a solar flare, that's why we have this aurora in the northern hemisphere where everything, there are the colors in the sky. That's basically danger that came around us, but it didn't hit us because we are protected by the Earth's atmosphere and magnetic shield. Something can come from the sun and knock out every form of technology. It can be nuclear, it can be EMP, it can be wars. When you have a physical skill, you don't have to depend on the laptop for you to be useful in society. And the next thing is agriculture. Try and get your hands on being able to do agriculture if you have the opportunity to, at least to have the knowledge of it. If you ever need to, you should do it. Because the world beyond just software ecosystem is in a very sensitive political space right now. Get yourself prepared in like kind of like very different ways, right? And one thing also to recognize is about the way the world is right now. It might look depressing, things like getting more expensive. The world is not as happy as it used to be. I think one thing I want them to know is it's going to be better off now than we're going to have anytime after. But one thing you have to do is there's one thing you have is the advantage of time, the advantage of strength, and especially mental strength. If you're a young person right now, make the most of all your efforts between the age you have in your 20s up to before your 40s, right? You are probably at your peak between 20s and 35 because, age factor, mentality, and stuff like that. Don't let anything deter you. There's nothing that can stop you. The only thing that can stop you is yourself, right? If you want to achieve something, look for every opportunity you can, get your hands on, get as many help as you can get your hands on, consult with people. When you see an opportunity present itself in the slightest way, do not hesitate to grab it. And I assure you, nothing's going to stop you. Do not give up, keep pushing, and do not let anything deter you. Be strong in mind. If you feel like you are down at the point, talk with people. People older than you, and they will tell you, come on, man, it's going to be great. It will always be better. Before 2018, I had my own downtimes. And interestingly, early 2018, I had one of my pretty downtimes, but all the times after that, it got better. So it will always get better. It's just about to keep pushing, keep doing things better, keep doing this in a different way that is always lead to your goal. And yeah, don't be scared, don't be afraid. You're strong. You're stronger than, So yeah, that's what I would tell the person. Besides, that's what I would tell my younger me.
Well, thank you so very much, right? And for me, it kind of leads us to the next conversation, right? If you could design the future of technology for the next generation, what kind of world would you want them to inherit?
Interesting. So, the kind of world I would design is where people make technology not primarily for the profit of investors, but for the betterment of the society.
Mm.
So, which might slow down technological development. I don't know whether you know this, but the World War I and World War II respectively accelerated the automobile industry and the aerospace industry. And the Cold War brought us one of the most innovative technology of our era, which is the GPS. The Americans trying to keep track of everything that moves, trying to know where they are in the world without having to do kind of track, created GPS, created a whole lot of innovation. War creates incredible innovation simultaneously at destruction. Competition creates a whole lot of innovation. But there's one thing I know is in science, most of the time. And so if we can bring that kind of thought process into technology, into the industry where we're creating products, the world will be a better place where people become less hungry, people will have houses, disease will be fixed. Right now, we are getting less cures and more of treatment in the healthcare industry. That is a bad omen. I would design a world where we are curing more diseases, we are fixing more issues, people are becoming better, food are healthy, where people are not getting obese and catching all kind of disease or cancer every now and then. The world would be a better place. That's what I would design. A world where technology and science is not for profit, but for truly 100% the betterment of society. But that is a utopia that may or may not happen. Yep, that is a utopia that may or may not happen.
Wow. Thank you so very much, right? And for me, as you're talking, there's a particular segment I always like asking, right? Or I've asked in previous session. So how would you explain your role for someone who is a 10-year-old? How you tell the person what you do?
So what do I do? I'm going to tell them that I work in a place that is made up of 100 parts, right? 100 things we have to do for it to be complete. And I work in like 2 parts of it. And the interesting thing is that 2 part might look small, but it's very important. So let's say we want to make bread. We want to make medicines. We want to make egg. We want to have sugar. We want to make flour. We want to do other stuff like that. So let's just say I'm doing sugar, for example. And if I don't put the sugar, I'll make the bread. Will it be sweet? No, even though it will still be the bread. So I did the sugar, which is why the bread is sweet. So yeah, that might even be for like a 5-year-old. But yeah, I'm a part of something big that we do for just work, like for example, take the car. You see the car is big, it has many parts of it. But just imagine one tire is missing. Will the car be complete? No, it will not be complete. So if my work is just that tire, it's still an important work. That's how we describe my work.
Wow. Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
So we are kind of wrapping this session down, which has been truly amazing, right? But so if you were starting from scratch in the year 2025, no degree, no network, but the internet, how would you break into tech?
So I would break into tech. The first thing I would do, if I'm well informed, is to incredibly embrace AI. And I will build as many very useful products as possible. Right. And then I will try and also, like, while doing that, I will identify what is the main stuff people are trying to do. For example, if you want to get into AI or start using AI tools, right, for something, do you know how to get, a lot of people might not even know how to get into it. So how do you make it easier? One of the main things you can do in technology to have your own place there is make technology much easier to access and much easier to use. And when you identify that, you do that. How do you generate pictures? How do you generate videos with AI? How do you do that? How do you do all of the stuff? Work on those projects and I put it out there. And by then I used to share it on Facebook groups. Facebook groups is not as great as it used to be. This time I will use Reddit. Reddit is very great to share projects and stuff. I will use Reddit, I will use LinkedIn, and I will try and gain my traction. People will know me as someone that does this. I will go to conferences. I would give speeches, no matter as little as I know. I will give speeches to people, in events and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure somebody's going to take note of me. And somebody's going to slide in my inbox in LinkedIn as like, we see what your project you're doing. We think you're going to be great for our company. And that is how your career starts. So yeah, that is what I would do. If I right now, just starting afresh in 2025.
Wow. Right. So I'm going to now ask you another part, right? So what's one myth about becoming a software engineer that you want to debunk right now?
So I'm going to take lesson in a particular case of someone that I used to know in Yaba in Lagos. So a lot of people look at software engineer and they like a whole lot of money. Software engineering requires a good thought process, and you learn it and you just think the money is just going to be flowing your way. No, you have to know it, and you have to know how to build useful things with it, and then the money will come. And to build useful things with it, you must have this passion. It doesn't have to be as passionate as football, but you have to have this passion for it, the ability to create things, to solve problems, to tinker in your brain, and visualize something before you even build it and have the image in your head of how it's going to look like. Right? It's not an instant cash, cash machine when you learn to program. Learn to program is one thing. Being able to build useful things is another thing. And when you're able to build useful things that people want to pay for, then you can make money. It's not an instant cash grab. It's a process. Learn, be useful. It sounds simple, but you have to put in the effort and be passionate about it. Always like, why am I adding to my passing parameters here and there? There's a place where it fits and where you humble yourself and you keep your mind open and you pick up some passion in it. And eventually you see, oh, this is where it all fits in. Then you can build something useful. So it's not an instant cash grab. It takes hard work anyway.
Wow. Okay. So this is the last part of the discussion I'll just ask you, right? And
Yes.
we call it a wrap. So what project should a beginner build to stand out and actually get noticed?
Project that's useful. Right. Let me break that down for them. There are places to look to check whether something's going to be useful. Right? Like, for example, in education. So there was a time I was trying to fix something and I was talking with Grok, and I was like, hey, I'm having this problem. And it make a suggestion. I tried a suggestion. It didn't fix it, but I didn't know that suggestion actually exists as a solution. So how do you solve a problem? One sample is students have issues understanding a couple of topics in school, right? But what if you build something? It's like they talk about their homework to the AI and tell them, can you try and describe it in football terms? What distinct mean? And the AI is going to be like, right, let's talk about algebra in the football terms. Man United, this person now. And it tries to draw it out for you. Like, oh, I understand. Bringing learning to what the person is familiar with. That is an example project you can build that students can use every day to try and understand their own work, stuff like that, right? But it's just about looking around you. It's like, what are the problems you see in society? What are the problems you see in your country? What are the problems you see in the world? Depends on what scale you are willing to work on, right? Like, hey, I have in my state, we have this problem, right? How do we get around it? Right. For example, every time I want to register for JAMB, the website is always slow. It's always this. And like, let me build an example project for JAMB and say, hey, and go up to them. I was like, I'm going to keep bothering the state. I'm going to keep bothering the authority until they accept the solution that can easily scale as many people visit the website and stuff like that. And can propose if you get lucky, it's like, fine, come and do it better for us so that we can have more students easily register for on the website. So look around you. If you can use yourself as a case study, look around you. What is the problem? You might see a problem somebody have that you may not relate to it. I might solve it for them, right? So if you want to build something that somebody needs. It's either you need it or somebody needs it for their work to get better, for their life to get better. And that is the thing you need to build, right? And when you're building it, you don't just build it straight away, have a feedback, keep showing them and get a feedback about making better. At the point, they'll be like, oh, this is good. this is good. I want this. I tell them, come and pay. But yeah, that is what you need to build. You look around you and look at the problems you can solve with knowledge that you have. And those are the things that you can build. One of the most important things you can build is education. People are always coming up, people are always learning. You can build for education. Education is great.
Well, there's something you said, right? And I feel I need to also kind of talk about it, right? So I feel there's something you said earlier in the conversation where you talked about that everybody can know how to code, right? But I'm going to put it to the educational part, right? So in the educational part, I feel there's nobody that is dumb in code. Just that we're not bringing it to the level of the terms they need to understand.
Yes.
Like you rightly said, everybody can be an A student, but they are not able to understand, just like chemistry, physics. They need to see it in real terms, how this thing works in an everyday life. So if they do, I feel everybody can be an A student just by doing that.
Yes, you can be an A student. And one more thing I have seen is we're trying to create the same education system for everybody, right? With the likes of artificial intelligence, we can tailor education route on each person. There are some people that learn fast, there are people that learn slow. Say, for example, they made a test where they showed someone a movie for 30 minutes. The person did not move their chair once. And they showed somebody mathematics for 30 minutes, and the person was just rotating their chair here and there. It is a different way. Like, the movie appeals to the person's way of thinking versus the mathematics. There's a way you can do mathematics that will appeal to people. There is a video, right? I don't know whether I can show right now. There is a video of mathematics in action, right? And you will not believe how it looks like. Can I show you? If you can.
Sure.
Can I show you? Yeah, sure. All right, good. Let me share my screen and show you this. One moment, please. Good. So, mathematics, animation, bytes. Right. Look at this. Let me find the first one. This is an animation of mathematics.
Wow.
Right. And the truth of the matter is, for the first time in my life, I enjoy math. Right. This is 40 minutes to give this to anybody. 1 + 1 = 2. I get it. It's not just maths, it's entertainment. And if you continue to expand it, you have 3. And it's going to go on like that until it becomes very exciting. It even comes like becoming a fight or something. It's incredible. Let me skip it forward. Look at, now we are having a stack being dissected. I get him. See? Angles. When you look at the number of views this video has, 92 million views.
Wow.
Who knew maths can be this fun? Now, if you extend it, that's a pie.
Wow.
So, this is the fight. It is an action movie of mathematics. See? Increase the radius of the circle.
Wow.
Sine. Like, you will not believe this. The truth of the matter is, this, who would have imagined there are different ways to learn? So, the truth of the matter is, imagine tailoring, creating different ways of people learning. If the maths you want to learn, you show them animations like this, right? And people are like, oh, do you know if you had this amount of number together, this is what you get? They are not remembering the numbers, they are remembering what they watch. This will learn visually. So the truth of the matter is, AI can be used to tailor how people learn and stuff like that, and make learning seamless, where you're not having the same learning process for everybody. You have people learn fast, people learn slow, people learn visually, people have by audio, people, learn different ways by touching. So, yeah, there are different ideas that one can build on. And education is a big industry, probably one of the biggest you can build solutions for with artificial intelligence. But yeah, somebody made mathematics an action movie. And that's what you're looking at.
Wow. Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm bringing the session to a close. What's your final word to viewers?
So, I think whatever you are passionate, you're very passionate on something, you love doing it. If you are lucky, it's the same thing you do as your everyday work and stuff like that. Enjoy what you do as you do it. Live every moment, be yourself. Don't be scared to be yourself. Don't be scared to engage the world. Don't be scared to share with other people. And don't be scared to learn. Don't be scared to share knowledge. Don't be scared to build something. If you want to build something because you just wish on building it, find the time to do it. If you want to see the world, go out and see the world. Whatever you are passionate about, do it. And be kind. And even if the world is not very kind, be kind. If more people are kind, everybody will be kind. And prioritize your happiness above everything else. Prioritize your own well-being above everything else. And every little wins that you have, celebrate it. I'm not saying you should throw a party and get drunk, but celebrate it and share with other people. Keep pushing. Don't let anybody tell you cannot do something, and don't do it because you want to make them wrong. Do it because you want to make yourself happy, and be the best at what you do. And even if it doesn't work out, there are always something else you can build. There are always something else you are great at, and just be hopeful and have the strength to figure it out, and talk with people that have wisdom, read books, learn from the mistakes of other people, learn from the source of other people, know how the world works, and live your life, be free, and not be bound by anything.
Wow, that's a lot. Thank you so very much for coming on the show, right?
Yeah.
And beyond all that, guys, trust me, Moses has said a lot, right? As much as possible, please share with friends, family, hit the subscribe button. But on my own part, I feel just like what Moses said, right? See, build not just to look cool, but build to make an impact. So guys, go out there and build the future you want to see. Do have an amazing time. Thanks.
All right. Thanks.